Look, it's getting lower. Yes, it is going down into the woods. This video was taken by the students from the Vasilivka village. The 8 shining spheres above the woods were seen by the residents of several villages of Bayandaevsky region. According to the eyewitnesses, the lights moved between villages Bayandai, Vasilivka and Толстовка. Not far from the last one, they hung above the trees and then began to descend. Local people say that all of this was accompanied by a loud noise and continued for a rather long time. These lights lined up in a row, somewhat in the middle of the forest, and they stood still. People are confident that these are the UFOs. The lights were hanging right above the top of the trees. These light objects did not have a permanent shape and constantly changed. For villagers, it looked like a show. Several spheres were breaking apart and then they were merging back into one. Local residents state that they saw this for a second time at the same place on Fridays around 8 in the evening. First time it was noticed February 18th and then last Friday. At first, when I heard, I didn't believe it, and I was very skeptical until I saw it myself. I saw it with my own eyes. It is far quite, but the fact is I saw it. After appearance of the shining balls, some residents went to the woods to the spot where the spheres have landed, but did not find any signs. There was a little bit of smoke from them, and then an unpleasant smell, like from the exploded little bombs boys like to blow up. The eyewitnesses don't understand that if it was a UFO, why other civilizations would need to fly above the little villages. There was no military base here, and the only strategic object in here is a local convenience store. News from Irkutsk. Mysterious shining spheres are flying again above the villages of Irkutsk. They were seen last night in the Hirit-Burgatsky region. Around 11 p.m., almost 10 shining objects appearing in the sky not far from the settlement of Bazoy. The witnesses have recorded them on their cell phones. According to their words, UFOs were flying above the woods, disappearing and reappearing. People were telling they saw a UFO. Once a week definitely shows up. I didn't believe myself, but last night I saw above the woods shining spheres. They were moving in different directions and then merged into one. It was somewhat frightening. We saw the same ball in Buryatia in Zakamensk. How? Well, we went to make some money. And we were coming back at night. And suddenly, that thing flew up right before my car. We stopped, ran out of the car, but nothing was there. There was 3 of us. On the 2nd of March, right? Yes, on the 2nd of March, 4 small fiery balls of a shining yellow light color were playing in front of each other, right in that direction. How far from here? Well, pretty far, in that side. How did they move? They hovered in the air. And how long? For half an hour? Are you sure they hovered in the air for half an hour? This is very important. Well, less or more, I didn't stand there to the end. I was watching for at least 15 minutes. I saw 4 balls. Were they the same distance from each other? They lined up in the shape of a cone, and light was reflecting from them. 2 balls this way and 2 balls that way. And the glow was light yellow, like a light from the sun to the floor. We were returning from our rehearsal at 9:30 on Friday. No, it was on Tuesday. I don't remember the date. 2 women ahead of us shouted, "Look, the UFO!" You see, we were running fast and we ran. And she says, "My house is on fire." I thought my house was burning. There was a big glow behind my house, and it was going lower and lower. How far from you was this glow?
То есть
Seemed
оно
like
как
close,
далеко от вас было,
about
вот это
200,
зарево?
300 meters,
Вот было, кажется, близко. Метров 200.
seemed like right
Ну,
above
такое
the
ощущение,
roof.
200-300 метров, значит,
И
зарево.
кажется, совсем над крышей. И мне кажется,
Was it a ball or what? No, not a ball,
Так
just
это
a
что,
light.
шар был или что?
You know, like a fire is burning, without sparks, without smoke, and such fiery things, you know, like that.
а вот такие вот.
It was burning in the sky?
То есть это
In the
внизу
sky,
горело.
above the roof, and then we saw it already below the roof. Where was it moving
Ну,
to?
хорошо, оно куда-то
Down,
передлеталось,
down.
сверху вниз,
By the
вниз,
time I came home, I already did not see anything.
вот такой вот
Just a few bright stars flickered in the sky. Were there any planes flying in the sky at that time? No, no planes, only 3 satellites accompanied it. 2 on the side and 1 behind. I didn't see that. How's that on the sides? Well, it was flying from that side to here, and 1 satellite from one side, and another from another, and the third one from behind. These leaves were of a rhombus shape, and it was all in those rhombuses, with lights on the sides. 8 of the rhombuses, I think. What, you counted them? Yes, 8 rhombuses. You were screaming scared that it will fall on the snow. On the middle, it was like a polygon or octagon, also with bulbs and with a bright one right in the middle, and bulbs everywhere on the sides. It left as quietly as it came. It came from there, sideways, and left over there. I think it came from there, since my house was burning. Well, wait, so the glow and all these rhombuses were moving together? Yes, together, like a flower, moving in a pile, like a flower accompanied by the satellites or something. After practicing, we were going home, and we saw several shining objects, like fires from the sky, going down from above.
Костры с неба.
Да,
То
их
есть
было
они сверху вниз спускались.
сверху вниз спускались.
And after they
И когда
descended,
потом они
they left a
эти
smoke in the
костры эти
shape of the
опустились,
waves.
После них остался дым, но он не прямо столбом, вот как обычно дым, а был как волны.
How about rhombuses people telling about? I would not say anything about rhombuses, but after they went down, the lights began to fly out into different directions of blue and red color. And it continued for a while because after I returned home, I came out with my children and we watched how these flickering lights were jumping above the field.
То есть вы находились дома.
So you were home,
Вот. И ну, что, сначала услышали грохот,
and you
потом,
heard a thunder
стены
first,
затряслись.
and then the walls began shaking?
Одновременно пришел и
Uh-huh,
грохот, и-
simultaneously thunder and shaking. I see. What was the color of the flash?
Ага.
It was reddish in the windows.
Мгм. А так люди говорят,
People
вот в
say
той
it was in
стороне,
that
да?
direction.
Вот в той стороне. Там север у нас или что?
Is
это?
this
Какая
north
часть
there?
света? Что-то я не пойму.
No?
Восток получается.
It is east.
Ага, на востоке.
So,
А там
it
вот
was on the
дальше,
east
вот в ту
side.
сторону, там что, есть какие-то
Are
вот
there any
военные
military
части,
units in
может
that direction?
быть? Ничего, сплошная
Nothing.
тайга.
Only
А вот,
woods.
когда,
When a
было
nuclear
испытание в каком-то 50,
weapon
не помню,
testings
году
happened
ядерного
in
оружия, это тоже в той
1950s.
стороне или
Was it in the same direction?
просто
I don't know.
рассказывают? Ага. Вы нам расскажите,
Tell
Владимир,
us,
значит,
Vladimir,
как дело-то
how
было?
did
Вы
it
дома
happen?
сидели, да?
Were you sitting at home?
Так, и что?
Yes, I was home, and suddenly heard the knocking on the floor, like someone was coming and stamping his feet.
Изба. Ага. Ага.
Ну, что ноги отбивают от снегу.
Так.
Выхожу,
I came out,
пасмурно было.
and it was gloomy,
А там вот,
Там на севере получается.
вот так прямо.
and I heard the roar right over there, in that direction. Where, on the north? Not far at all, behind these pipes.
Ага.
Brightly it was, even shine through the clouds.
Даже сквозь эту просвечивается, сквозь облако.
Ага.
И это, и гудит, как вертолет.
and roared like a helicopter.
Ага. Идет такой. Куда? Думаю, что, вертолет? А
I
звук
thought the
такой, что
helicopter
вот,
sounded like it's about to go down.
Мгм.
потому что это, как вроде бы,
То есть такой тю,
не,
да,
не,
или что?
двигатель с перебоями.
Like its engine is misfiring and it is like about to fall.
Мгм.
И так прошло маленько.
It went a little and slowly quiet down until a complete silence.
Чудно.
Odd.
Но
То есть получается
So
сначала
first,
затряслась земля,
The earth got
потом вспышка
shaken.
появилась.
Then there was a flash.
Хотя должно быть
Although
наоборот.
it should
Сначала
be
взорваться,
the
потом
opposite. First the flash, then the thunder.
Мгм.
Well, I was home and thought someone was knocking.
Да-да.
я думаю, что тут за стук. Ну, наверное, оно как
Ага.
рвануло, так и это.
То есть давайте вот так.
Well,
ну,
let's try
попробуем
to recover the
восстановить. Всё-таки
events.
Сначала вы
First, you heard the
услышали,
thunder.
грохот, затрясся
The
пол,
floor began
а
to
в этот
shake,
момент, вы
and
были в
while
на
you
какой
could not
стороне?
see
Вы
the
могли
flash
не видеть
being in the
что-то дома,
house.
или
Не,
как?
дома я не...
Yes, when I came out, I saw the flash.
Когда вы вышли, тогда увидели
Then you
вспышку,
heard the
а из
roar.
окна вашего она не могла быть видна?
Я в окно не смотрел, это
Ага,
не
ага,
знаю.
ага.
И все, и улетело
Понятно.
туда, и...
Потом, значит, гул. И примерно сколько
For
вот это
how
по
long
времени
do you
проходило,
think this
сколько
thing
она
was
летела,
flying in the
эта
air?
штуковина?
А я постоял, посмотрел,
I was standing and looking around,
и эту
but I
штуковинку
didn't see the
увидел,
thing.
что яркий свет
just a
видел.
bright light through the
Очень
clouds.
облачно всё. Так, облачность начала рассеиваться. Посмотрел, оно погудело туда.
It roared
И
down
всё, вертолет
and in that
идет,
direction,
то ли.
and I thought a helicopter is falling down or something.
Всё, я
And then I went home while it still was shining.
выхожу, тишина, всё.
То есть это очень
So
было
it
похоже
sounded
на
like an
двигатель
engine of an
самолета или
airplane or a
вертолета.
helicopter.
То есть скорее вертолета даже.
Да, как он с перебоем его-
Yes,
с
helicopter with an
перебоем.
irregular sound like it is about to fall.
То есть так вот т-т-т,
Да, да,
затих,
да,
ту-ту-ту,
да,
затих.
да.
А вот скажите, пожалуйста,
Could you tell me,
сколько
please,
вертолетов
how
летало
many
здесь на
helicopters were flying here on the second day? They say only two.
дороге? То есть вот говорят, 2 вертолета видели.
По-моему, два.
I think two.
Может, один оттуда вот так.
At first,
Низко, низко
there was one.
туда полетел.
Так.
Думаю, что это может этих трубу
Мгм.
высвечивает.
Угу.
Потом от... Не. Потом он-
And
он
then
обратно
it flew
полетел
back.
сюда.
Угу.
И
Мгм.
потом обратно в ту сторону полетел.
Maybe it was the same helicopter.
Может один. Просто
Maybe,
люди
I
говорят, что
don't
один
know.
побольше, другой поменьше.
They say one of them was bigger and the other was smaller.
Ну, Ми-8, Ми-2 там.
An unusual phenomena was observed at dusk by the residents of several Asinsky districts of Irkutsk region. Bright light, flash, and a loud explosion scared many. What was that, a thunder or a crashed plane? Or maybe a meteorite? There is no such person today in Irkutsk who would not discuss this event. The residents of a small rural community on Goy propose different theories. They say a plane fell down, and then people called and asked if Angoy is still there. That evening, Agrafena Alonina just finished feeding her cows, returned home and began her house chores. Suddenly, the whole house got lit by bright lightning and the windows trembled. It lasted no more than 5 seconds. Her neighbor was returning home from the store. There was such a shining, which looked like a nuclear explosion, just like that. And a roaring sound, like it was a thunder or something like that. The version of a fallen plane was declined by the rescuers. They flew around the entire area where the unusual phenomenon has happened and did not find any debris. The scientists tend to believe it was a meteorite. It does happen when a heated substance forms a cloud in the sky, which settles afterwards. It looks like this was photographed by the eyewitnesses. On the video footage, we can see how two spots are gradually moving by the wind, and then their heavy particles are settling down. It is normal that no crater was found, because it is rather rare for the objects to reach the ground. They must be big enough to form a crater on the surface.
объекты, которые могли бы образовать воронку на поверхности Земли.
The last time a meteorite in Irkutsk region fell in 2002, its diameter was around 3 meters, and according to the words of Sergei Yazov, Asinsky's is 2 times smaller. The signs of exploded meteorite will be searched only after the snow is gone. Blaze in the sky with a deafening rumble. The residents of Abusa thought that not far from their village a plane has crashed. However, there was no fire after the wreck. The villagers began to suggest other ideas. I heard a rumble, and then I saw a pink light. Everything was lit with pink color. I thought it was an alien. In the morning, the MES sent from Irkutsk a helicopter with a response group. We have not found any signs of any debris in the area we've searched. The civil and military aviation services confirmed that there was no loss of their planes. The astronomers have their own opinion about the incident. The bright blaze and the earthquake after impact tell about a big meteorite broken up in the air. The last time the meteorite fell into the woods of Priangoria in 2002, the fall of the big space object was observed not only by the locals, but also it was registered by the satellite of US Air Force. Vitimsky Bolid left a streak in the sky, crumbled in the air, and its pieces fell somewhere in taiga. They still cannot be found. The scientists even melted the snow to find some kind of remainings of the meteorite. A lot of uncertainty was left in the story of the Vitim event, and now the scientists are afraid it will happen again. A heavy snowfall could hide all signs of the last incident. We will see. Maybe closer to the summertime, someone from the locals will find something strange, a small crater or the damaged trees. We can talk about it then. In February of this year, the undefined flying object was watched right away from the 5 different locations. This footage was taken at the beginning of the week by one of the Priangoria residents. Yes, we are seeing an unusual activity. It is quite possible that these objects are intelligent and not just flying balls, because if something fell out there, they would know about it, and this is why there was such an activity in the Irkutsk area. Whether this is a meteorite or UFO, the specialists intend to establish its origin, and closer to the summertime they will organize a research expedition. Irkutsk area for Star TV channel.